We saw this coming, didn't we? Many of the news stories reported by conservative outlets in the last year that were censored or suppressed by big tech progressives have proven to be true, including the Hunter Biden laptop, the origin of the Wuhan China virus, and of course the alleged science behind devastating lockdowns. The problem is most people just aren't hearing about it now due to the gatekeepers of news and information. So, truth was and is censored. We can expect more of this since social media giants are aligning with the Biden administration to moderate, monitor, and control public information. But there's an interesting twist to this story. The Biden administration may be unintentionally helping President Trump's lawsuit against the big tech giants. I'm David Fiorazzo, and this is Christ and Culture. Senator Ted Cruz has been one who has been pushing back hard on this, saying the Biden administration wants to have the power to silence you. But what they're doing is unconstitutional, contrary to the First Amendment and to a free society. Now, it's interesting that what the left calls misinformation needing to be suppressed almost always involves censoring or silencing Christians, conservatives, independents, Republicans, and benefits Joe Biden. This is also known as a double standard, or DDS, Democrat double standard, also known as one-way tolerance. But is it legal for government and private corporations to work together politically? And have they overplayed their hand? Listen to this interview, and Ted Cruz explains.
But what they have inadvertently done is they have strengthened President Donald Trump's lawsuit against big tech, against Facebook and Twitter and Google, because, look, what President Trump argues in the lawsuit is that they are violating the First Amendment by censoring Americans. The biggest argument they have in their defense is they're private companies, not the government, and the First Amendment only applies to the government. Well, there's an exception to that the Supreme Court has long recognized, which is the government can't use a private company to carry out a government policy. And here, this is what they're doing. Here, the Biden White House is asking the big tech monopolists, please silence, block, disappear any views we disagree with. And I think that's blatantly illegal. It's also an abuse of power that is really contrary to the principles that our country was built on.
Exactly. Now, we've never seen anything like this in the land of the free. Why? Because propaganda campaigns like this, as well as the monitoring and censoring of citizens, is communist policy. So check it out. Dust off your history books. Now, sadly, what has happened in the last several years has revealed that the United States is now among those totalitarian governments, practically. Please understand the power of information and how it can be used as a weapon by those who control it. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the news or think I'm exaggerating, just last week, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki announced that Democrat officials were meeting with social media platforms and they had increased disinformation research and tracking. She said the administration is flagging problematic posts from Facebook that spread disinformation. And Biden-Harris liberals are working with big tech to promote what they deem as accurate information and to, quote, boost trusted content. First, trusted by who? And exactly who gets to decide what information is accurate and reliable? Well, the governing Democrats, of course, the emperors. Second, this is a blatant violation of every American's First Amendment right to free speech. According to Politico, Biden-allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are also planning to engage fact-checkers more aggressively. So, what the heck does this mean? Radicals are working with SMS carriers to, quote, dispel misinformation about vaccines, for example, that is sent over social media and text messages. Wait, our personal text messages too? Yep. Well, what about privacy, you might ask? Oh, don't worry about it. They'll just deem it justifiable, just like the lockdowns and other recent power grabs. Writing for End Times Bible Prophecy, Britt Gillette warns that big tech is enabling government to trample the rights and freedoms of citizens, and that the surprising support for cancel culture and the demonization of opposing points of view is setting the stage for a dangerous government that is, quote, willing to use violence to enforce its edicts. Connecting the dots a little more to another institution, education, Gillette adds this, quote, college campuses used to be open forums for free speech and radical ideas. Today, they're ground zero for the assault on free speech, a place where totalitarians silence all dissent. This dictatorial impulse is spreading from the college campus to the public discourse, leading to censorship both online and offline. The willingness of so many people to suppress free speech foreshadows the rise of a dictatorial state, end quote. We can no longer say, as our great-grandparents probably did, well, that could never happen here in America. And yet, here we are. This is no longer just an insidious threat to the strength of the nation. It is an open assault on our free republic. The hypocrisy is those who called President Trump a dictator are strangely silent, or they're fine with all this. Go figure. Now, we should all be committed to the truth, but where censorship is concerned, there are no quick fixes here. But we can raise awareness as much as possible, support new Christian, alternative, conservative, and independent news sites and sources. Regardless of this opposition, though, to the biblical worldview and truth, pray for the gospel to advance, for open debate to return, fair elections, respectful disagreements, and freedom of speech in America for all people once again. God bless you, and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.